Hello, my name is Brian Kinney and I'm an ERP Advisor, and welcome to our webinar, Stop Delaying Projects, How to Manage and Finish Projects on Time. Today we'll explore how software can help you manage projects to meet timelines and budgets. Before we get too involved in how software can help with this, let's first discuss an overview of what goes into project management to better learn what we may be missing in our software. So what are some things that are used in managing projects that play an important role in a project's life cycle? Let's go through some of them and to better understand these needs. First, you have to plan out the project scope and designate a project manager to lead the way. Next, determine the resources, goods, and skills needed to complete the scope. Next, identify risks you may face and set up effective risk management for success. Budgeting goods, labor, and materials to facilitate the project is also very important. Planning and scheduling the proper workers and resource needed is also a helpful phase in planning projects. Forecasting outcome based on budget, scope, and schedule, and knowing when to adjust things is also needed. Next, manage risks and ensure work is being completed correctly and the timelines are being met accordingly. Finally, review work that has been done, complete the project, and review with the client. Now that's a lot of different functions that are needed to manage a project, and even that was at a high level. Now that we know what goes into managing a standard project, let's look at what most project management software provides their users. So the project management softwares offer a host of features to help their users manage their projects. Across the board, project management software offers users Gantt charts to provide a visual reference of the project. Collaboration tools like a chat and sometimes chat with document sharing is included. A calendar to provide a visual of timelines and offer a schedule. Milestone tracking to show what's due and when. Task management to stay on top of the to-dos of the project. Messaging offers a way to message back and forth with customers. Checklists can help know what needs to be done. Progress tracking shows how far on or off target the project is. Label creation allows tasks to be given labels for more detail and separation of needs. And finally, document management allows for documents to be shared, and oftentimes this is an integration with Google Drive or Dropbox. So with project management software, you get some tools to help manage your project. But how about those things we talked about earlier though? Anything missing on this list that might be helpful to have in your software? Well, let's talk about those missing features, most of which the average project management software does not include out of the box. These are things like human resources, customer resource management or CRM, accounting, and reporting tools, and these will help provide you with more detailed information to help not just manage, but also plan and execute your project from start to finish, all while providing all those helpful details. Let's go through each of these in a little more detail and find out how they can help and what you may be missing not having them. Let's start with human resources. How can HR help you finish projects on time? Well, number one is skill management. Have you ever encountered something that needed a particular skill to complete? Maybe someone needs to be certified to use a machine like a jackhammer, or maybe that you just need a CPA. Making sure you have the right person assigned to the right task is an integral part of project management. But it is not something that every project management software has included. Having the transparency to know within the software who should be assigned to work on something can not only save you time, but also help in the checks and balances when managing and reviewing completed work. Scheduling is another huge part of planning a project. Knowing who's available on which days, or what a team's workload is right now, is very important in managing and being prepared for a project. Being able to easily answer these questions in quick fashion can help streamline your project planning and provide your project managers with more tools and time available for the overall project. If your scheduling process is clumsy or unconnected from your project management software, you could be missing a lot of details. Next, time off. Who do I have available that can work this week? If you're asking questions like that, perhaps it's time to upgrade your project collaboration tools to track time off. Managing time off can help a lot when scheduling tasks or milestones, and you'll be able to see who is off within the project's lifespan and have the resources to handle it. From warnings to reports, there are a lot of ways to see who's available to work and who isn't. Without tools like this in your software, you could potentially lose a lot of time in checking the same details outside of your project management software. Next, let's learn how customer management, or CRM, can help finish your projects on time. There's a lot of things that could help in terms of customer management, but let's start with order management. If you ask things like, how much of a budget can we use on this design? Or how much did the customer approve for this construction labor? Then you may not know exactly how close to your budget, or if you're over budget, that you really are. And this is something that a lot of project management software does not include. Having the visibility to see exactly what the customer ordered and approved can provide helpful details in allocating hours and resources to complete certain tasks. Wouldn't it be nice to manage what goods or services were ordered to provide more details with the designed project budget? Next, communication and visibility. Communication is something that is highly important in making sure the customer, contractors, and employees are all on the same wavelength. Some project management software do not include messaging or email functions, and oftentimes communications can get lost in somebody's email inbox, or worse, their spam folder. Keeping the customer informed and up to date is a great way to limit risks and confusion. If your software has messaging built in, this can help alleviate a lot of headaches in searching for a message. Some software like Striven provides your customers with a portal as well. Within the portal, they can see and respond to messages, view and approve orders, and even see their projects. Whether it's communicating priorities, making it easier for customers to pay you, or simply managing risks, good communication tools can help ensure everybody's properly informed. And finally, contract management. If your project management software does not have orders, then not having contract management included is another feature that could highly benefit your company greatly. Having the ability to upload a PDF of a contract is nice, but imagine having the ability to submit an order, have the contact review and approve it, sign their name electronically, and store all of that information within the order in your project management software. Having the ability to easily see what was ordered and whether the customer approved the project can eliminate a lot of confusion and also help plan the scope of your project, something that a PDF cannot provide. Next, let's talk about how accounting can benefit your project management. Well, first is committed budgets. If you're asking questions like, did we overcommit hours on this task, or how many hours should we allocate for this, then accounting can help resolve those. A lot of project management solutions allow for an overall budget to be tracked, meaning this is how much money we have to spend to complete the project according to the set goals, scope, and timeline. However, wouldn't it be nice to not only know how much was approved but actually paid for by the customer? Having accounting and projects in the same system can help provide that exact level of insight. Seeing committed budgets in the form of invoices and line items can help project managers see exactly what was paid for and plan how many hours they have to work with based on that committed budget. Tracking expenses can also help. Whether it's purchasing products, tools, or subcontracted work expenses, these things come up. Whether it's purchasing products, tools, or subcontracted work expenses, these things come up when working on a project. Having the ability to track and bill for those expenses will help give you an edge in managing the profit of projects. By housing your accounting and projects in the same system, you can track expenses that have been purchased and even bill them to your customer so that you can have a more accurate picture when tracking your profit. Finally, receiving payments. If you look at your project management software and you view the profitability page, are you missing an income section because you don't have accounting synced with your project management software? Have you ever had to reach out to your project manager or accountant to see if a customer paid for a service yet? The ability of closing a milestone is one thing, but being able to receive a payment against an invoice is another. Putting a payment against an invoice is another layer in closing out work that can help manage the scope of a project and how much income you've received so far. Now that we've gone over accounting, let's see how reports can help you finish a project on time. Well, first let's talk about profitability tracking. Seeing your total profit for a project can help you learn to adapt for the future. Some project management software cannot provide this level of insight when tracking profit. Profitability reporting can not only help show how much profit your projects stand to gain, but also ensure that no expense, billable time, or payment falls through the cracks. This can also help you learn from mistakes and adjust your processes for future projects as well. Why not take advantage of software that provides these tools to give you an edge for both your project managers and your customers alike? Next, status reporting. Reporting on project and milestone statuses can help project managers see where milestones currently are and what needs attention. Status reports can help project managers see what's behind schedule, and then they can allocate resources and proactively minimize scope creep. And finally, let's talk about forecasting completion. Having the ability to estimate the amount of work that needs to be done to recognize a completion date can help you make needed adjustments. If your project management software can provide tools to help project managers allocate hours, adjust schedules, and complete milestones, wouldn't you want your company to benefit from those tools? So now that we've talked about what you could be missing with your project management software, let's explore how having all of these in one software like Striven can help you complete projects on time. So now we're in Striven, and we're going to use Striven to explore how your project management software can benefit from having things like accounting, customer management, human resources, and reporting all combined within the same exact software. So let's start with skills management and human resources. So skills management is highly beneficial in managing a project and making sure that your teams have the right skill sets as needed. So to manage skill sets in Striven, simply click the Employees and Skill Sets. This will show all your employees and what skill sets they have, and on this page you can do a number of things, including seeing if something is reaching its expiration date to make sure that people get recertified. You can edit the skill set itself. You can also hover over the Information tool, which will show you a brief description of the skill set itself, and you can also deactivate skill sets as needed. If you need to add a new employee skill set, you can just do it right from here, and you can even select what employee gets the skill as they arise. So if somebody gets certified in something or earns a college degree, for instance, you could add a new skill set and allocate it to the right employee. Next, let's talk about scheduling. Scheduling is a huge part in managing a project, especially when it comes to managing a bunch of different teams. So here, if I click my image at the top of Striven, I can choose to load my work calendar. And a work calendar is a great tool to see exactly what people have on them for a specific period in time, in this case a month. Here I can scroll down or change months, and this will allow me to schedule for specific things. For instance, I can see here that I have a project, milestone, and a bunch of tasks coming up next month, but I can also see that I have a lot of appointments in the coming month as well. So here, to add something, I can just click on the day and choose Add New Appointment, or I can add a new task right from here, and this will help me manage my projects in a more visual manner. I can also choose to load a weekly calendar to see all the people who are assigned to the project and what they have going on for specific days within weeks, and even see their shifts that they have as well. Another benefit to the work calendar is that if I click this colorful grid on the right hand side of the work calendar, I can see what I'm tracking, and here I can track time off and holidays. So if somebody has the day off, or maybe there's a holiday, I won't be able to schedule. I'll be able to see that so that I don't schedule that employee for the specific day, and it will help manage the scheduling of my project. If you want more detail about time off, however, you can click the Employees, and you have a time off section here. You have tools like approving time off and a time off calendar. And the time off calendar will show you what's been approved, what's pending approval, and also holidays. And this will show another layer in terms of who cannot work for specific days. Next, let's talk about customer management. So one thing we discussed before was order management, how order management can help you see all those details that the customer actually purchased, those goods and services. So if I click Customers, I can go to the Orders screen. And here I can click into an order just to see the details, but on the orders list itself, I can see a bunch of information, including whether it was approved or not, the order date, and much more. But if I click into an order, I can see the customer information, the bill to ship to or where they're located. I can also see the payment terms and the items that they ordered as well. And this will help me know exactly what I need to allocate tasks to based on what the project is for, and how much money I have to work with based on each line item. Next, let's talk about that communication. Communication is huge in terms of managing a project for both internal and external people. Well, within Striven, you have a lot of tools to communicate back and forth with either internal people or external people in terms of contacts. One tool is messages. So right within an order, I can click the message icon and choose to send a new message. And I can send them either to a contact or an internal person. If I send to a contact, I can then write my message and even attach documents or images to the message as well. But they'll be notified, and I can even track my replies in Striven, all within the orders screen. I can also send a message right from the top from my message center. And just like before, we can see the replies that are sent back from the customer contact. Striven also has a portal, so customer contacts can log in and view their project status, communicate to internal people, view their tasks, and they have many more tools available as well. That brings us to our next point of contract management, things that were approved by the customer. So if I go to my orders once again, I can then show only orders that were approved. And you'll see here, I have an order that has a magnifying glass with a number 1. This means that the order was viewed in the portal. So if I click on the consultation request, which is the order name, I can see it was approved on 6/19/2019. And I can even click on the hyperlink, and this will show who approved it. You'll see that it was a contact, and it even has their signature and when they signed off on it. I can also communicate from here and see any attachments that were located. And I can also note that it was invoiced. That means that my accounting generated an invoice for the customer to pay. If I scroll down, I can see all the items that they ordered, and this shows me that they ordered consulting services. And this shows me that they ordered 40 hours of consulting services. That means that my project budget is $3,600, and I need to allocate 40 hours of consulting services to facilitate the project's needs. Once more, something that's very helpful in terms of planning out a project and managing your budgets and timelines. Next, let's look at accounting. So we talked a little bit about committed budgets in terms of how many hours you need to add for the project in order to complete it based on what the customer ordered. But if I go to the invoice that's related to the sales order, I can see all the accounting information that the customer now needs to pay. If I scroll down, I can see the exact same line item, except now it's a transaction, which means the customer has to pay for what they ordered. What's even better about using a system like Striven is that if I click on Applied Credits and Payments, I can see that the customer has already paid this project in full. And here I can unapply a payment if needed, but I can also print off the details or email the customer as well. Next, let's talk about tracking expenses. We talked about those reimbursable expenses, subcontractor expenses, and other things that come up when managing and completing a project. Well, with internal expenses, it's really easy to submit an expense. You can just click your image and choose expenses from the drop-down. Here I can either add multiple expenses, which means I have multiple different line items which could be separate expenses. Or I could just add one expense at a time by clicking the Add button and choosing my type and filling out all the necessary information. If this is an expense like you purchased a tool, or maybe it's a subcontractor expense, you can also create a check. On a check, you can pay either a subcontractor or an employee as well for those expenses that you need to issue for the project. Next, you can choose to add an expense in the form of a GL account. professional fees. And if you want to bill it to a customer, you can choose the customer from here, choose the order that you want to attach the expense to, and mark it as billable. You can even choose your class as well. These are things that come up when working on a project, but something that not every project management software has included. Another helpful tool is receiving payments. By using an ERP like Striven, you can benefit from having a portal where customers can log in and pay their invoices as needed. In the portal, users can see their approved orders and their billing summary. If they have any open invoices, they can easily pay them through the portal, and they can even sign up for autopay to have them pay themselves using their card or e-check information. Next, let's talk about reporting. Reporting in Striven can help benefit both managing and completing projects, as well as showing the profit that your company has gained or lost on a project. One helpful report is the milestone status report. The milestone status report will show how far on or off target your milestones are. Red means that they're late, and yellow means that they're in the future. All of the projects will show the individual tasks that you have still to complete, as well as the budgets. To manage your project, you can simply just click on the name of the project, and you'll be brought into the project to see everything that needs to happen to complete the project on time. The milestone status report is very helpful for project managers to keep on top of things and allocate resources to complete their due dates as needed. Next, let's go to the projects list. Here we can run a very helpful report such as the burn down report. The burn down report is very helpful in projecting how many hours it's going to take to work per day to recognize a completion date, or estimate a completion date by how many hours you can have employees working per day. For instance, up here I can see a lot of information about my project. For instance, how many hours were completed and how many hours remain. I can also choose the end date for a project, and this will show me how many hours I need to work per day to recognize that completion date. I can also choose my burn rate. So for instance, if I see that I need 9.8 hours to work per day, what is it going to take when I work 8 hours? So if I work 8 hours a day, then I'm going to complete the project by 11/25/2019. And this report will help project managers stay on top of things and also help allocate resources and time in order to recognize that completion date as needed. And finally, let's talk about project profitability. The project profitability report is a highly important tool that will help show how profitable your projects are. Here I can see I have 2 projects that are in progress, and I can see all the information that goes in to this report to manage their profitability. Number 1, I have the sales order total. So this is how many goods or services were ordered. I can also see the POs, how many items or services did we purchase from our vendors. Our revenue is how much we've invoiced for the project. Our labor shows billable time entries. Our expenses are those internal or external expenses that we purchased within the project's lifespan. Our total cost is our labor plus our expenses. And then finally we have our profit, which is also separated into profit margin percentage and profit percentage. This project is extremely helpful in terms of managing workflows and adjusting for the future, as well as showing how profitable your projects are. So with that, let's recap. How can you manage projects and finish on time? Well, having a software like Striven, where you can utilize tools like scheduling, viewing committed budgets, and reporting profitability, can help you proactively manage projects and finish on time and on budget. All of the tools we explored inside of Striven can help provide your project managers with the tools to set your projects up for success. To learn more information about how Striven can help you finish projects on time, please visit our project management page using the link listed in the slide. You can visit this page by typing striven.com/project-management-software in your browser. Once again, thank you for attending our webinar, and I hope you have a great day.